Okay, Madam Lindo was listening this debate, this discussion with the interest. What was happening in the class you have seen. When you read this discussion beautifully, you will get an idea how the people were involved, how the students were involved in that debate. So she was listening with very interest, and now she stepped in. She entered in between the debate. I was delighted to see you all arguing so passionately. I don't know who is right, who is wrong. She is saying she is happy to see the enthusiasm of all children who were involved in the debate. I don't know who is right, who is wrong. That is for you to settle, but I did feel that you all wanted to speak your mind. You may have felt very bad if someone tried to stop you and someone punished you for saying you felt. And would you be able to do with your country that is not democratic? Is that good argument for democracy? Means she is trying to understand, make them understand that you were taking part beautifully, trying to speak everything good, but if any was interrupting you, you feel something bad regarding this. So means when you say that, would you be able to do that in a country? Means if we see in behalf of country, it is not democratic. Means if anyone, here you have to understand this particular line, if anyone in our country is interrupting us, so what will be your argument for democracy? Means interference, anybody don't like. So here the line clears himself like itself it this. So now arguments against democracy. Let's see what happens in democracy. Sometimes we can't say that everything is good, but we can't say that everything is bad. So this conversation has most of the argument that we routinely hear against democracy. Routinely means generally in our day-to-day life we all listen such kind of arguments. Let's see what are they. First, leader keep changing in democracy. This leads to instability. Democracy is all about political competition and power play. Firstly, we always listen this that what is democracy? Democracy in democracy leaders means government. Keep changing in democracy means after 5 years we change the government. It leads instability means by this particularly what happened instability take place. Another is that democracy is all about the political competition. We see during the election time what happens? People generally highly competitive to each other. And there is no scope of morality. Scope of morality means people generally degrade themselves. You see during the election time how far they alienated each other. They don't think even what is good or bad for means the allegation comes one another after. So many people have to be consulted in a democratic that it leads to delay. Third argument is that so many people have to be consulted in democracy. Consulted in democracy means I say if any decision is taken, it is not taken singly. All the members of the party sit together, they take the decision. Finally, decisions come from the leader side. So means it is not singly taken. On the dictator, we can say a person who is feeling good or bad can immediately pass out the order. But in democracy, it doesn't happen. So some people think about that. It is against the argument. Elected leaders not now the best interest of the people means elected leaders to whom we elect do not know the best interest of the people. Sometimes they don't go with the interest of people, how they have come to who they have elected, and it leads to the bad decision. Means generally on their own benefit they work, they don't take the benefit of the people. Democracy leads to corruption for its based or electoral competition. Democracy leads to corruption. We are discussing the corruption in between that debate. democracy lead corruption. You have seen in democracy corruption take place. Corruption, you can understand, means when rule regulations sometimes not followed, and based on electoral competition, or for it is based on electoral competition, means electoral competition when election take place. So sometimes corruption take place, people give bribe, they sometimes do booth capturing, they sometimes we can have an idea like they purchase the votes. So it happens, but India in that particular form, it is now improving. So sometimes it earlier used to happen, so this have been one of the argument. Ordinary people don't know what is good for them, and they should not decide anything. Ordinary people means the people who elect the government, the simple. A person who is of 18-year-old is having the right to vote. But sometimes only educated person has this knowledge. When the people who are living in remote region, state like Bihar, so what we can say about, they don't think about any, they don't have any good sense of judgment. They cannot take good decision, but they elect their ruler, sometimes following others. Are there some other argument against democracy that you can think of? Which of these argument applies mainly to democracy? So, besides this, many can be there. Which of these can apply misuse of any government, form government? Which of these do you agree with? Clearly, democracy is not a magical solution. Now we come to the answer of this. Like democracy is not solution of it is not the magic rod of all the problems. It is not ended with the power by our country and in other parts of the world. Democracy as a form of government only ensure that people like their own decision. This does not guarantee that their decision will be good. People can make mistakes. Involving the people in this, the people on this decision does lead to the delayed decision making. It also true that the democracy leads the frequent changes in the leadership. Sometimes this can set back big decision and affect the government efficiency. These arguments shows that democracy of the kind we see may not be ideal form of government, but this is not the question. Means if it is having some argument, means like some blemishes it is having, so it is not that be ideal form of government. But this is not the question we face in the real life. The real question is we face different, means is democracy better than other form of government that are there, so for us to choose form. Means if we are discussing this, that in our real life what is the question we face is different. Is democratic better than other form of government? Means if we compare the other government form, it is the better one that are there for us to choose from. Means that's why we choose this form of government. Now you can think today, do some mental exercise why we are saying democracy is good government. So basically from junior classes till now we have read that in that particularly we have many rights. Means right to vote, right to express, ठीक है, right to oppose, right to make association, right to make unions. Many more can be here, but if we see in other form of government, these rights generally we don't get. So that's why we say that in this form of government, it is something better than others. Means nothing can be perfect and absolute. So if compare this form of government, it is better than others. So till here we discuss. Tomorrow we'll discuss the argument for democracy. These were the against in democracy. Now we will discuss tomorrow argument for democracy. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day.